Okay, it's the live, YouTube live, right? Okay, the time is now 3 p.m. I will start on today's debate. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mia from KPO, and I'm here today to act as the MC and moderator for today's debate. Here with me are the two candidates who are running for Student Council President. The first candidates are Alfred Julian Susanto, President Aspirant, and Queen Patricia Rabani, acting as his Vice President. The second candidates are Ariel Glorian Joantono, who is also running for President, as well as Angelina Jihong Choi, her Vice President aspirant. Today's debate will be split into 5 main sections. In the first 15 minutes, we will have easy questions provided by KPO. In this section, each candidate will have 30 seconds to think about the question. When called upon, they must turn on their cameras, and the timer will be shown right beside them. I will be repeating the question twice. The candidates are allowed to take a paper and pen or pencil to write down their thoughts if they must after hearing the question. If they need any clarifications, the timer will stop. After the timer is finished, I will ask them to stop whatever they're doing and start the timer for the answers. In this first section, they will have 1 minute to answer the question. If they don't use the full time to answer it, I will use the corresponding time to ask more questions to simulate a real conversation. Once the timer is up, I will ask the candidates to stop talking. The second section will ask some harder questions, and thus the time to prepare will change to 45 seconds, while the time to answer is 1 minute and 30 seconds. All the other rules are the same as the first section. The third section will be when the candidates will take turns to ask questions for each other. They will have 45 seconds to think about the questions, and thus the time to prepare will change to 45 seconds, while the time to answer is 1 minute and 30 seconds. All the other rules are the same. The third section will be when the candidates will take turns to ask questions to each other. They will have 45 seconds to think about the questions to ask or to answer, while being in a private call that has a KPO member to monitor. Afterwards, they will have 4 minutes and 15 seconds to discuss the question. They are allowed to develop the conversation as long as it's related to the topic that the questioners asked. Clarifications may be asked, however, the timer will not be stopped. The fourth section will have the candidates answer 3 questions from each from the live audience member. They will have 30 seconds to prepare and 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer. The question will be monitored and picked by a KPO member. Finally, the last section will be when each candidate talk about their message to the audience member. They each have 2 minutes to talk. The timer will not be stopped for any occasion in this section. All right, we will commence with the first section. Reminder, in this section, each candidate will have 30 seconds to think about the questions. When called upon, they must turn on their cameras and their timer will be shown right beside them. I will be repeating the question twice. The candidates are allowed to take a paper and pen or pencil to write down their thoughts if they must after hearing the question. If they need any clarifications, the timer will stop. After the timer is finished, I will ask them to stop whatever they're doing and start the timer for the answers. In this first section, they will have 1 minute to answer the question. If they don't use the full time to answer it, I will use the corresponding time to ask more questions to simulate a real conversation. Once the timer is up, I will ask the candidates to stop. I will first call on candidate number 1, President Aspirant Alfred, to answer the question. Please turn on your camera. Remember, you are allowed to write down your thoughts in a piece of paper. Okay. The first question is, if elected, What do you, as a leader, bring to this position that will help to promote growth in the students around you? Once again, if elected, what do you do as a leader bring to this position that will help to promote growth in the students around you? Your timer starts now. All right, please stop whatever you are doing. Your timer to answer starts now.
I believe as SES has grown in number like a lot in terms of students, the diversity of interests and talents would increase directly proportional to it. So with my events such as the student meet clubs, the SES Got Talents, as well as other online clubs that I will be making, it is to promote the growth of both diversity and talent of these students of SES to show that we are really growing in numbers. Like in the previous years, we only have like about 3 to 5 clubs or any, and we don't have any other platform to showcase our talents. I'll be providing students a platform to show our diversity and talent increase. That's it.
All right, thank you. Please turn off your camera. I will now call upon candidate number 2, President Aspirant Ariel, to answer the question. Please turn on your camera. The question is, what is your definition of leadership? What is your overarching purpose as a leader? Once again, what is your definition of leadership? What is your overarching purpose as a leader? Your timer to think starts now. All right, please stop whatever you're doing. Your time to answer starts now.
In my opinion, leadership is actually a person that leads a group of individuals into reaching their goals, the same missions, to a better standard. And what is the purpose of this leadership is to be a great example.
All right, then do you think your style of leadership fits the standards for the Student Council President? If so, how can you prove it?
I believe I have a great leadership skills that others may look up onto because I have a great character values and I believe I'll be a great example for them to set.
What are these values?
I'm responsible. I am down to earth. I will help everyone no matter if they need or not.
All right, please stop. Thank you. Thank you. Please turn off your camera. I will call upon candidate number 1, Vice President Aspirant Queen, to answer this question. The question is, how will you increase the awareness of the significance of your position to a wide range of students? Once again, how will you increase the awareness of the significance of your position to a wide range of students? Your time to think starts now. All right, thank you. Please stop. Now your time to answer starts now.
So action speaks louder than word. I will try my best to help my partner, that's called Alfred, and also I will try to hear the students' voices on what they want. For example, they are wanting an event. I will try my best to um, make the event happen.
How can you convince students your position is a positive influence rather than a negative one?
I I will set a good example to them that and we will help them to we will fight together, not and yeah, we will fight together. As a leader, we are their advocate.
All
That's
right, thank
one
you.
of
Please stop. Please turn off your camera. I will now call upon candidate number 2, Vice President Aspirin Jihong, to answer the question. If you had all the power to create the best possible school, what would you do? If you had all the power to create the best possible school, what would you do? The timer to think starts now. All right, please stop. Now you have 1 minute to answer the question. Your time starts now.
If I had the power to make as a better school, I will listen to all of the students' demands so that they will be happy, and I will also strengthen the bond of teachers and students so that their school days will be better. And also, I will make fun events that will not make them be bored at school so that they will always be excited to go to school. And also, I will also be a leader and lead them to be a better person in the future.
It seems that you say you will follow the demands of the students. However, what if these demands are unreasonable? Will you still follow them?
No, but then we may make other events that similar to that.
Okay, thank you. Please turn off your camera. Okay, I will call upon candidate number 1, President Aspirant Alfred, to turn on his camera. Here is his question. In the face of adversity, how will you approach the situation to fix it? Once again, in the face of adversity, how will you approach the situation to fix it? You have 30 seconds, starting now. Thank you. Please stop whatever you're doing. Your 1 minute to answer starts now.
I believe as a good leader, especially for this organization of students, we must have more than at least one plan. Like we should expect everything that could happen and create as much hypothesis as possible. If assume in a scenario where this adversity or as known as misfortune happen to my plan, like to my initial plan, I would already prepare a plan B. Like for example, even if I don't have this concrete plan B, I'll always think of an alternative, as a leader should be someone who is fast, like who is responsive to changes around them, no matter how short of time they have. Like our last orientation, where we have to change in plan of having two orientation at once.
All right, thank you. Please turn off your camera. I will call upon candidate number 2, President Aspirant Ariel, to answer this question. Please turn on your camera. The question is, can you share some examples of when you were a catalyst who brought groups with polarized opinions together so that all voices were at the table? Once again, can you share some examples of when you were a catalyst who brought groups with polarized opinions together so that all voices were at the table? Your timer to think starts now. All right, stop. Your 1 minute to answer starts now.
Back then, during my reign in OSIS, I was once in OSIS team also, and there were some suggestions from the students that the OSIS team weren't able to hear it. So that time, those people approached me, and I came to the OSIS leader and told them about the suggestions. And these suggestions were bring into our meeting.
What were the hardest things that you encountered when being in those situations?
There were some events that the teachers weren't really agreed to be established, but after convincing and all those ideas and concepts that we have that will benefit both students and teachers, um, teachers finally agree with it.
All right, thank you. Please turn off your camera. I will now call upon candidate number 1, Vice President Aspirant Queen, to answer this question. Please turn on your camera. The question is, what is your top priority when you're elected as a leader for the Student Council? Once again, what is your top priority when you're elected as a leader for the Student Council? Your timer starts now. All right, stop everything you're doing. Your timer to answer starts now.
My priority is to make SES something more than an educational institution, but a fun place too. And our top priority is obviously the students, because as a student council, we need to help them raise their voices.
Are there already plans to support your claims?
Yes, actually, some of our events was it's from the students' idea, and we will help them raise the ideas and make the events.
How will those events support them?
For example, as like 50% of the SES community likes esports, and we will make an esports competition, and we also have some proposals ready to be released, it will take the student's name and also bring SES to.
All right, thank you. Please turn off your camera. Finally, I will call upon candidate number 2, Vice President Aspirant Ji Hong, to answer the question. How will you improve the reputation of the Student Council? Once again, how will you improve the reputation of the Student Council? Your time starts now. Please stop. Your time to answer starts now.
So, as written in our organizational plan, we had planned to collect donations for like COVID-19 patients or any people in need during this pandemic, right? So maybe we can raise the school's reputation by making that event happen so that our school will be like remembered as a school that cares about the surrounding society.
How can you ensure your plans will succeed?
Because we have a team, we have an upcoming team that will help Ariel and I to make that event happen. So, like from the older OSIS members from last year or some other teachers or some stuff.
All right, thank you. That was the last question. Thank you, everyone. We will now commence to the second program. Reminder, all rules are the same. The only change is the time that the candidates will have to prepare their answers, from 30 seconds to 45 seconds, as well as the time to answer is now 1.5 minutes. Once again, you are allowed to write down your thoughts in a piece of paper. Okay, we will start now. I will start with asking candidate number 1, Vice President Aspirant, to answer the first question. Queen, please turn on your camera. Okay, here is your question. If your president is absent, how will you solve the disagreements that will occur between two departments of yours? If your president is absent, how will you solve disagreements that will occur between two departments of yours? Your time to think starts now. Okay, please stop. Your time to answer starts now.
As an organized team, even if Go-Offert was absent, he would have already shared every of his ideas to me, and therefore I'll have the same amount of knowledge of what we do, and we would discuss it together and find ways to solve the problem.
What will you do if both parties are not willing to compromise?
I know it's hard, but we will find ways, or we can just take the easier way, or like we will investigate the case first, and what whose ideas is the best, and we will take that, or maybe we can combine both ideas together.
What would you do if both parties want to quit because of this conflict?
If it's the best for them, then we will. It's up to them to quit or not. But I know that we will find ways and find what's the problem or conflict and look for a conclusion. Our team is going to be selected through an audition, so I know that we will have the best members of our student council.
All right, thank you. Please turn off your camera. Next, I will call upon Ji-hong from candidate number 2. This is your first question. What is the most difficult decision you've ever had to make during your last leadership position? How did you arrive at your decision? What was your result? What is the most difficult decision you've ever had to make during your last leadership position? How did you arrive at your decision? What was the result? Your time to think starts now. All right, please stop.
Okay. So
Your time, please wait for a while. Your time to answer starts now.
okay. So I used to be a kid who's like irresponsible, and all of my scores were like bad. So I wanted to be I wanted to be a leader because I want to learn how to hold a bigger responsibility, and I want to be more open to feedbacks and criticism because I used to be um, like sensitive and stuff. So I want to change, and also I want to be a leader because it could help with my character development. So the biggest decision that I had to make was to sacrifice my time. Yeah.
All right. Have you changed after experiencing this situation?
I'm currently trying to change. I think I'm a lot better than I was during primary six, so I think that's an improvement, even though I'm not as good as other people yet.
How did it make you become a better person?
Because I learned how to be more patient. I learned how to hold my anger and more.
Okay, thank you. Please turn off your camera. Next, I will call upon candidate number 1, Alfred, to answer this question. Please turn on your camera. The question is, your events currently are a lot more than previous years. These events require a lot of fundings, and thus your plan seems somewhat unrealistic. How will you garner the funds for your events during quarantine? Your events currently are a lot more than previous years. These events require a lot of fundings, and thus your plan seems somewhat unrealistic. How will you garner the funds for your events during quarantine? Your timer to think starts now. Okay, time's up. Please stop. Your time to answer starts now.
If you have recognized to my work plan, all of my events are applicable in this online and offline scenario, including my fundraising activities such as the Koperasi and the food stall. Alternatively, since Koperasi would not technically work as effectively in our normal case of no pandemic, I would still use this alternative plan, which is our online Koperasi. We may struggle to sell like stationaries and usual items we sold in a normal Koperasi, but I believe that there are other alternatives such as renting of Google Drive, storage, clouds, or even an editing service. Another one is that our initial plan of having a student-operated food stall could shift to an online food pre-order made by our student council member, and in relation to our proposal of having a student-made club, which which is going to have culinary club in it as one of the highest demanded clubs in according to our glimpse of survey and mouth-to-mouth conversation with other students. That's
These
it.
plans seem somewhat unrealistic and insufficient. Do you think the funds will be enough? Sorry, the time is up.
So
Thank you. All right. Since the time is not very enough, we will stop at this. We will now continue to the third section. The third program will now start. In this section, the candidates will take turns to ask questions to each other. They will have 45 seconds to think about the questions to ask or to answer while being in a private call that has a KPO member to monitor. Afterwards, they will have 4 minutes and 15 seconds to discuss the question. They are allowed to develop the conversation as long as it's related to the topic that the questioners asked. Clarifications may be asked, however, the timer will not be stopped. We will start with candidate number 1. Remember, when the preparation timer is on, you must turn on your camera, but you may mute your mic. After the time is finished, we will start the timer to discuss the question. The timer to think starts now. Please turn on your camera, don't forget, everyone. Once again, calling Jihong and Ariel to turn on their cameras. All right, please stop. Your time for discussion starts now.
okay, so may I ask to candidate number 2? Throughout the course of the campaign, you have been gathering testimonies from different sorts of people. While it is commendable to gather credibility, might I remind you that these testimonies you have gathered are from people outside of the school who do not know how you have been operating in our school student council in recent years, nor how you have been acting in our class. Might I also add on that there are no ways for us to validate the authenticity of these testimonies you have gathered. How are you able to ensure that these so-called testimonies would not abnegate the candor and tenability your campaign has? You may answer.
Okay, since about our testimonies, it actually has some students from our class. Um, if you watch the videos from the beginning to the end, there's also some people that is once involved in our school. Our past students, the past students from our school which and lastly, from our school, from our class that is still here now. So I don't think that your statement is correct.
May I remind you that the testimonies you have gathered are from your closest ones, who we may not know, even if, like for example, you're asking them, "Hey, can you please give me a good feedback? I need it for student council." We do not have any knowledge of authenticity, whether they're talking what is true or they're just simply over exaggerating on a good trait you have, without considering these negative traits you have been showing and showing throughout our school years. Because for me personally, as a friend of yours and a classmate of yours, I don't think that these testimonies are 100% true, because in some statements stated, I was there in that scenario being specified by these people you have gathered to give testimonies.
May I reminded you once again, the people that I testimonied are pastors. They won't lie.
But your pastors are not in our school, and you don't know how. And your pastors don't know how you work in school.
My
And
pastor was once contributing in our retreat event when I was in grade 7. So students know well about this person.
but let me ask you here, Ariel, are you acting the same way in school and in church? Because I believe that in every scenario and everyone would act a bit formally, more religiously in a church, since it is a church. You are technically having your ministry, your relationship with God, but a school is something different, Ariel. You cannot guarantee that you have been acting the same way, showing the same character values both at school and at church, as they are
When it
two
comes to
different
religious,
positions.
I may act different when it comes in church and in school, but when it comes to leadership skills, I act both the same. If you don't believe, I have ministries. I joined ministries, and you can ask them that was once involved with the same ministries as I, and in school.
A
There's also
ministry and a student
testimonies from
organization is something different, Ariel. A whole organization compared to a team is something different. An organization is way bigger than a team.
yes, which is why I also
Okay, please
gathered.
stop. Thank you. Now we will have the turns of candidate number 2 to ask candidate number 1. Your timer to think starts now. Okay, please stop. Your discussion time starts now.
Okay, this is the question that I asked. As we know, junior students would tend to look up on their seniors. How would you make the seniors help you to show a positive impact to their juniors so that SES would have a good community?
I believe as this student council is an organization of students representing each and every students of from every class, from every from anywhere they are, no matter who they are, we are students. We are going to represent them. So technically, if they are going to set an example and follow this set of example, the junior high school students would tend to look up to us, the student organization, as we are both their representative and the leader of this student organization that is going to help them in reaching their dream of school, like their dream school.
What about those seniors that don't want to be involved in your organization and that will want to ruin your image? And they obviously will show a bad influence to your juniors. What will you do?
uh, let me first obligate that why would someone try to ruin our organization? This organization is established for the sake and for the greater good of the students' life in SES. Why would they want to resist it? Even if they have contradicting visions with mine, I believe that we are a whole community, we are a whole family, we are SES. We would
You
still
know,
support each other no matter
you
how
cannot
different we are.
as a leader, you cannot demand everyone to like you. There will be some people that will hate you. And this is why you need to prepare. Because if these people will ruin your image, of course, they will be influencing the others.
That's why we're trying our best to hear some students' voices and we can raise them up by making events that will make them happy. For example, esports and like 50% of the students in SES like esports. So I know that it will bring our image up.
What if
Let me add
those
on that.
events
First of
are
all,
not
even
legalized by
if
the
there are
leaders?
someone who is going to show hatred upon our student council, there must be a certain cause of it. Like there's a reason behind it.
It could be
If
jealousy.
can I continue talking first? Even if this certain hatred has no cause, there must be a certain motivation they want to reach. So technically, if you want to know and you want to solve this case, you have to confront them directly, ask them what they want, what what is the very reason behind their attack against us, the student council, and together we could solve this certain problems as maybe they have contradicting demands. For example, like Quinn said, the majority of students in
So
SES
you're saying you're
sports.
going to approach every student one by one?
We
Let me
will
ask you, how many possible haters of mine do you think would exist in this school? Like even if
There are 200 students here.
okay, the probability of having haters among these 256 students of SES are very high. But if you see, when this group of haters have something in common, there must be one head, one leader among them who has the biggest amount of hatred. By influencing this leader or this influencer, I could help them in solving their problems with the student council and reach our vision together.
All right, please stop. Thank you. Now this time, once again, it is candidate one turn to ask candidate number two. Your time to think starts now. All right, please stop. Reminder for candidate number two, Vice President aspirant Ji Hong, to please answer the questions or at least put some comments. All right, your time for discussion starts now.
Okay, so this question is specifically for your vice president, but you can answer. What are you able to do so that your cabinet is able to maintain a level of professionalism
How will you be able to prevent any members' personal affairs from affecting the rest of the student council?
Um, for me, I think that um, if for our student council, non-personal problems or anything should be mixed with our school things because personal problems and student council problems must be um, mixed. So, I mean, must cannot be mixed. So
Uh, it you cannot say that it cannot be mixed. For example, let's say if this certain members of the student council is having such a bad day, their mood are ruined, they're being very extremely sensitive and acting unprofessional. It could technically affect the meeting. For example, if you yourself as a leader displays display such a, a moody feeling towards your members, like if you are in a meeting and suddenly your personal problems got into your mind and it will affect your mood, the meeting would not flow and go as smooth as it is supposed to be. How will you be able to prevent that from happening?
um, for me, I will still keep boundaries of my personal problems and school problems because I will need to be professional. So maybe if I were in that position, I will take a break from the meeting for a while. I will like give them 15-minute breaks or something.
Then you're not being productive. In such way, if you leave the meeting, you are technically the leader. You can, like, it is technically more stable to have two hats, like two leaders in one meeting in order to maintain the balance throughout the discussion. Like, assume we technically cannot avoid like any bias or any personal desire towards a certain meeting. Like, for example, if the if one leader is being very personal, like she or he focus on their personal desire to have a certain event or a certain topic reached in this meeting, you cannot, like, if you are to leave that certain meeting as a partner, you're technically allowing this personal desire to have a chance in ruining your meeting.
And may I add that a break may or may not affect them. So what is your solution to that?
Okay, so there everyone will encounter this problem, and this personal problem will affect everyone. And if we don't have this break, the members in this meeting will be affected.
All right, please stop. Now we will switch back to candidate number 2, asking candidate number 1. Your time to think starts now. All right, please stop. Your time for discussion starts now.
Okay, so this question is for Ko Alfred. Since during this online school starts, our task has increased in number, especially for Ko Alfred, because you are in grade 11, right? So you need to prepare for your universities as well. So how will you manage your time then?
I believe time management in terms of academic is not such a big problem to me. Like relatively, if you analyze my grades in the report card, I have an almost straight line of 9, except for one subject, and I believe those grades are high enough. Even if I choose to prioritize the student council, it wouldn't lower my level of intelligence or diligence towards my academic achievement, especially since the student council, like this student council, is technically proportional to your academic. If you are having, if you don't have this such stable academic grades, it will technically affect your full-time commitment to this job as a student council leader.
Remember, if you're being in this organization, you will have less amount of time to spend with your family, friends, and your personal time. So how will you like
Let
this
me add
may affect it?
I am here to
I,
help
I
that. So we can split up jobs. For example, that he is doing his work, and we will discuss the meetings or the events together, and I can help state the meeting for him.
might I add on that it's technically the cost of being a leader. If you are to prioritize your personal desire, your personal time, like what are you going to contribute to this student council?
So
Especially since
you're
I
putting a
believe that
risk in
this
your relationship
organization is
with
supposed to
your
work as a
family,
team.
friends.
If you are going to control it on your own by using your own knowledge, your own ideas, your own time, what's the point of having a team? What's the
We
point of being
family
in an
time members.
organization?
We still have Saturday and Sunday to hang out with our family. And also, student council is like only a one third compared from the days at school.
Let me remind you again, this OSIS thing will really consume your time as a leader for president and vice president. Of course, there are some tasks that the team cannot do, like having a meeting. This will consume your time. And of course, you will have flex amount of time for spending with your family and friends. Will you risk that?
Not to brag, but looking at my track history of being the junior high school student council president, the vice president of the overall student organization, I don't think it really affects or downgrade my academics grade. It
Let me
technically
remind
boosts
you
my
again.
spirit to study more, and technically, depending on your time management skill, if you are struggling to manage your time, then that's on you.
And
That's
saying
on you
this,
being
you
not able to manage your
when
time.
you said
And as a
that your
leader, time management is a very important skill.
it's like that everything is the leader's job. Us as a student council, we are a team. We work together. So it's not all of the job. It's not the leader's job. It's our job too. And we as because our school has growth in students. We'll have over 256 students right now, and we will have approximately 30 to 40 student council. And if one is not available to help, we still have 39 more.
Not like let me add on that as well. We are going to revamp our departments, having a lot of departments with their own leader of departments, which
So
will
when you
help
say
us in
that,
delegating the tasks.
Okay, thank you. Please stop. Now we will switch back. Okay, so the timer to discuss starts now.
In accordance with our observation on your
Sorry, wait. I'm sorry. Please stop. Okay. If I don't say anything, please don't talk. Okay, the timer to discuss starts now.
In accordance with our observations on your organizational plan, we've identified that your events will consume an enormous amount of money. And we've recognized your only fundraiser activity is your Koperasi, which will work under the normal classes circumstances. But Koperasi can operate as actively during the pandemic, and if you do not have a solid plan to deal with this, not only you but the whole organization will be in financial trouble. How do you hope to revive the Koperasi and its team when last year during your reign as head of Koperasi, the Koperasi was barely functional and the team is not working actively to the point even you gave up your position and plan to depart from last year's Students' Council?
Who said that I give up my position?
It is based on our track record of you clearly stating, I want to quit OSIS. I quit OSIS. And then you technically did not, like you hand up the Koperasi team to me. And technically it was during our last reign before the lock-in that was cancelled. If you remember,
Let me remind you
it was
again.
my idea to trying reviving this Koperasi by having this student-operated food stall, like premiere launching during the lock-in. As I see, it is a way for us to raise fund because it's my responsibility as the head of entrepreneurship department. But sadly, during our reign last year, the president
Where were
delegated
your
us
responsibility when
directly to the
I
head
was
of the
given
Koperasi.
the task to raid the Koperasi? I know you were the leader, but everything that was done, the Koperasi, all was managed by me.
Let me obligate that. If you remember exactly, the president delegated the task improperly. If it was supposed to be in an organized structure, I was supposed to be the one handling your Koperasi as well. Because technically my position was as the head of entrepreneurship, which the Koperasi team is supposed to be under it.
If
In
you're
such
a
a way
great
that I
leader,
was supposed to receive all the data, all the financial plans, all the budgets you have, your source of this, your source of like inventory and stuff. But here, in fact, the president entrusted you with everything, leaving me, ha- leaving me having no authority above the Koperasi team, and I work technically as his right hand man in planning a lot of events.
if you're a great leader, you won't be waiting for the leader to ask you to
I did
involve.
ask him for all the data and authority, but what did he say? Ariel could handle it. The one that the one that resists my help was you.
If you are a great leader, you won't let Koperasi destroy. You will make Koperasi.
Technically, it was working a bit, like it was technically working at first, but as you see, in such scale that the Koperasi, to the point that if you recognize during snack and lunch, there could be a certain scenario where nobody was there to handle the Koperasi, especially since there was no customer, and it shows that you're lacking of your marketing strategy. If you
Let
have
me
no
remind
customer,
you again,
what
Koperasi is still new. There will be some failures that going through. I planned some changes, but due to this pandemic, it won't be occurred.
where's the result? Like
Yes,
even if before the
we're in
pandemic you have
pandemic.
done something, there must be an output. But what did you say? What did you told us? What did you told your friends? I'm quitting OSIS. That's your clear statement.
A good leader will leave
All
in the
right, please stop. Okay, thank you for those heated discussions. We will now commence to the fourth section. Here are your chances, the live audience, to get involved. A KPO member will pick 6 questions from the comment section to ask the candidates. Each candidate has to answer 3 questions given to them. They have 30 seconds to prepare and 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer. The questions will be monitored and picked by a KPO member. Alright, let's start with the first question. Alright, for the first question, academic performance is directly proportional to leadership skills. Candidate number 2, please comment on this statement. Your 30 seconds starts now.
Wait, so you're asking for my academic scores?
I'm asking for you to comment on this statement. Academic performance is directly proportional to leadership skills. For the timer, can we please repeat this? Timer? All right, the time starts now.
Okay, I believe that academic is also partly involved in
Sorry,
leadership.
wait. When you ask for clarifications, I stopped the countdown. Do you not need the countdown anymore?
Oh, okay.
You have 10 more seconds. All right, the time for you to answer this question is 1 minute and 30 seconds. Your time starts now.
For me, academic scores is also important, but if our academic scores is not very good, it can be fixed. But I think that
Okay, here, if you're asking about our academic scores, we believe that our academic scores is not bad as well. But I believe that being a good leader doesn't necessarily mean that we need to have a great score. Because what is required to be a good leader is their character values.
Are you not going to use your time to comment on this comment anymore?
Okay, if you're going to ask about our scores, it's actually not bad. Okay, and for us, what matters is our experiences, and of course, if we have integrity. So I don't think that it's really important to have a good score.
All right, thank you. Okay, the next question is for candidate number 1. It asked, last year, Alfred was the right hand of Aaron, and they wanted to make student-made clubs. However, until now, there are no such progress. Why is that? Your time to think starts now. All right, please stop. Okay, your time to answer starts now.
I really believe that the one asking this question is technically like doesn't have any certain specific information on how we worked in the student council previously. So for your information, as a student council, we cannot contradict with the school's calendar. If we are going to put into application all the events at once, it is impossible as there are school calendars we need to follow, school schedule we need to follow, and we are not supposed to contradict with it. We had our academic weeks given by the school, with our Christmas celebration, and many other events that the schools have provided on their own. It is impossible for us to technically destroy this so-called schedule and calendar of the school. And due to the pandemic, we had a shorter amount of rain, which means we have no time to put this student made clubs into application. But as a redemption, here we are providing you with our student made clubs alternatively online and with adaptations towards the online classes due to this pandemic. I believe that's
For
enough.
information,
You may add.
the student made club's proposal has been done. We have done writing it. We just need to give, but due to the pandemic, we have a shortened time of frame. That's why we're here.
Okay, please stop.
Not approved yet.
Please stop. Thank you. Okay, now we have another question for candidate number 2. The question is, please explain why the safety protocols when you made the video together was not followed. The one where you did not wear a mask and was in close proximity together. Your time to think starts now. All right, please stop. Your time to answer starts now.
Okay, so we recorded the video in a closed place, and it was my friend's like building, so they disinfected it already. And also, if you see our TikTok video, we were also wearing masks, and we did not wear masks in the 5 minutes videos because I think it will be a little bit hard for our pronunciation and our words to be heard because our masks were like thick.
Not only that, we also keep our safety protocols done. We use hand sanitizers. We still wash our hands. We still keep all those cleanliness happen. Although, for the 5 minute videos, we took off our mask for a while to make the videos. But after that, we wear our mask again. So I don't think that your statement was right.
Because also before we go into that building, they also check our temperature and we need to go through some things first before we went up at fifth floor. And yeah, that is why I think that your statement is not really correct.
And let me remind you again that the building that we went is very private.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, here is a question for candidate number 1. Despite being rivals and having different visions, missions, and plans, what, in your opinion, are your rival candidates' best traits or virtues? Your time to think starts now.
May I start now?
Yes, you may, sorry.
Okay, so I believe the best trait of our rival, which is candidate 2, is their wide range of social connection. As you can see, Ariel is a very active member of a church, which means she has a lot of friends from different places, from different schools, with different perspectives, which could technically help in making a diverse, like increasing the diversity of ideas. As well as Jihong, she's technically a part of a dance team that has been to a lot of places, like different places, where she has meet a lot of different people with different perspective. I believe that's the very best trait of them. But like a rival is a rival. They have their own advantages, but it doesn't technically overcome the positive traits we have as the other candidate. You may add, Queen. Would you like to add something?
I think he said everything.
I think our statement is clear enough. Basically, the best trait of the other candidate is their wide range of social connection, but it doesn't overcome the rest of our positive traits as a leader.
Okay, thank you. One last question for candidate number 2. Our KPO member is still picking. For the comment section, you can. Okay, so there's wait, sorry. Okay, so for candidate number 2, academic achievement is directly proportional to leadership ability. Although the points you made that the two are on hindsight separate skills, values, such as diligence, time management, and hard work are needed to be excellent in both skills. What are your thoughts? You have 30 seconds starting now.
Jamia, can I have a clarification with the statement?
Yes, what is it?
Can I get a clarification of the statement only?
Oh, you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is, academic achievement is directly proportional to leadership ability. Although the points you made that the two are on hindsight separate skills, values such as diligence, time management, and hard work are needed to be excellent in both those skills. What are your thoughts?
Why is the timer restarting?
It's clarification. They are allowed the timer will restart. All right, please stop. Your time to answer starts now.
Okay, so I agree with the statement because the factors of our academic skills is also included in the character value. So I think that um, our scores are also important because uh, yeah
When it comes to leadership, Of course, being responsible diligence is very important. Although this factor is also included in our character values. We may be diligent not in the aspect of in academics, but we can be responsible in other aspect, maybe in um, completing our promises. So I think once again, our academics here is not really important, not really involved in when it comes to leadership skills. What matters most is our character values.
Okay, thank you. We have the final questions for both candidates. For candidate number 1, here is your last question. In the commenter's point of view as an OSIS member, last time, they've seen your plans for almost all the events, and it seems that you guys are taking all the events that are planned by the previous OSIS leader, but weren't able to do so. Maybe because both of you guys are OSIS members too, last time. That's why you guys might know the plans already for the events. Why don't you guys think of any other events? Do you need me to repeat the question? I'll take that as a no. The timer for thinking starts now. Timer, it's 30 seconds timer. Thank you. Okay, your time to answer starts now.
You want to start, Queen?
So our plans is not simply following the previous idea, but we are improving it and adjusting it to the online classes.
Let me add on that. Okay, so technically, if you might seen that maybe some of our plans were in the previous student council plans, but as you may see, it is not completely the same. We are technically improving it as we know, as we have experienced being in that student organization who planned that certain event. We know what is lacking, what is to be improved, what is to be maintained, and what is to do next, especially since our scenario and situation here is an online class with greater number of students, which is approximately twice the number of students we had in the previous year. So to add on that, if you analyze our organizational plan, most of the events are similar, but they are technically improved, and we have our own original ideas as well. Do you want to add something, Queen?
And also to remind you, some of the events that we take from the previous student council, we didn't have the time to.
All right, please stop. Sorry, I had to stop you guys at 30 seconds because the timer started at 2 minutes. You guys are supposed to only have 1 minute and 30 seconds. I'm sorry. Okay, so here is the final question for candidate number 2. We will ask the same question as candidate number 1, and it is, despite being rivals and having different visions, missions, and plans, what, in your opinion, are your rival candidates' best traits or virtues? Your time to think starts now. Okay, stop. Okay, your time to answer starts now.
I think that the best aspect from pair number one is that they are very creative and also they can capture people's heart by having their own ways of approaching as a students. And that is what I think is the best from the other pair.
I may also say that they have experiences as well. So it's actually a good trait to have an experience, especially for Alfred and Queen, that they have been in OSIS, which, yeah, they know how to lead the team. But of course, there are some traits that is different from me and them. And yeah.
So and also I am the newest, like I haven't been in OSIS, like this is my first time running for the OSIS. So I think that Quinn and Alfred are very experienced and they can lead OSIS better.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will have the final section. The final section is dedicated to our fellow candidates. They will have 2 minutes to promote themselves to the audience. Remember, it's best if you all use your precious seconds to talk about how you can make the best president. All right, we will start with candidate number 1, Alfred and Queen. Please take the stage. Ariel and Jihong, please turn off your camera. The timer for 2 minutes starts now.
Both Quinn and I have experienced what it takes to be a part of the student council. We have seen what sacrifices it takes from our leader, especially since Queen is the vice secretary of Aaron, our previous president, and as previously stated in the YouTube comment section, that I was the right hand man of the previous president. So we are technically one of his closest member, the one he would tell everything, every struggle he would have, as well as helping him in solving the problems that we are facing together as a student organization. If you have seen, well, you cannot simply judge us by our own experience, by our previous experience, because it doesn't determine what we will do. But I can promise you that we will do our best. We will bring SCS to the right track to grow even better, especially since technically we have grown in numbers as we are supposed to grow in spirit as well. We will help advocating all the students' demand, increasing the diversity and showcasing all the potential talent we could have, as well as glorifying the name of SES.
And since we are in the student council in the past year, we know in what to fix in our community and we know how to improve. We know how to lead the organization and we we will help you to learn on how to lead the organization.
And for the student council member themselves, we will be picking them through audition. So technically, we are giving you the chance and the privilege of being a student council member by
So everybody
registering to
can
us.
contribute.
All right, please stop. Thank you for your speech, your monologue. Okay, now we will head over to candidate number 2. Your timer for 2 minutes for your speech starts now.
Okay, so we have experiences. We've been leader multiple times, and we also have been in this school for more than 5 years. So we know which aspects are needed to be improved in this school. And also we will grant your wishes that are valid or considerable, and And also, we're a fun and outgoing person, so we know when to joke and when to be serious. And we're also diligent, and we always do tasks required as soon as possible.
Not only that, we have plans that is very fun to do and is beneficial for our mental growth. And we also focuses more on character development because we believe that this development is very beneficial for us in the future. Once we graduate from SES, we'll be introduced to the new society, the outside world that is very cruel, which is why we need to be prepared for our character development and mental growth from this age.
And also, we will expand the variations of clubs and extracurricular activities in our school. And like also, we will hold meetup events with famous entrepreneurs for a talk show, changing the system for the election of OSIS members. And we will make prom and hall of memories. And we will develop the cooperacy of our school, provide LDKS, and many more. So
We have a lot of new variations of ideas and events to be done. So
All right, please stop. Thank you. Okay, that was the last section. That was the last section for both candidates' speech. This is the end for the debate today. I hope you guys will have a clear idea on who to vote for the election time. I hope you guys will think smartly and not vote just because of friendship. Think about what the candidates can do for your future school life. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've learned something new every day. Thank you as well for our president, our fellow candidate presidents and vice presidents. And thank you as well to all the KPO member who has made sure that this event has gone smoothly, as well as the teachers who are participating in this debate. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you have a good day. I'll see you. Yeah, I'll see you. Bye.